This is a stronger, tighter hook designed for narration lasting 20 to 30 seconds. In athletics, there are moments that take place away from the spotlight. It's a peaceful practice rink with no spectators or cameras. However, occasionally the events that take place there alter everything. According to Raffaella Rutunyan, that occurred during one of Ilia Malin's training sessions. It wasn't a contest. The rink became motionless after one effort on the ice, even though it wasn't meant to be a huge day. Not because it was flawless. Even those who often witness elite skating were aware that they had witnessed something out of the ordinary. And at last, the coach begins discussing it. It was a peaceful morning at the rink in Irvine, California. Not quite silent. Rarely are ice rinks. The sound of a coach yelling something from the boards, the faint hum of the refrigeration system beneath the floor, and the sound of blades cutting small lines over the surface are all constant. However, it felt nearly empty in contrast to competition evenings. A few skaters were wrapping up their warm-ups. A coach with a cold cup of coffee rested against the barrier. On a tiny speaker by the rink's edge, someone changed the music. Ilia Malinin was doing what he had done thousands of times before on the ice. One more training session. Nothing noteworthy is planned. No judges observing from a panel, no cameras. Just get to work. That's how it initially appeared, anyway. Raffaella Rutunyan, his coach, stood close to the boards, as he usually does, arms crossed, stance at ease, eyes tracking every move silently. Those who have spent years watching him coach are aware that his stillness typically indicates that he is paying close attention. Ilia had been practicing jump entrances, short combos, and timing exercises that morning. A type of repetitive training that most onlookers would likely find tedious after a short while. However, the true advancement for skilled skaters occurs during those silent repeats. While watching a competition on TV, you might not realize that every jump you see under the arena lights has been tried hundreds of times, sometimes even more, in mostly empty rinks like this one. However, there was a little break in the practicing routine on that specific morning. Ilia slowed down as she skated near the far end of the arena. Just a quick glide, a turn, and then another. Nothing spectacular. Ilia rarely hesitates before a leap, so that moment drew his attention, according to one of the assistant coaches. His body usually knows what it's going to do, so he moves with a sort of instinctive assurance. However, he circled once and then again this time. Raphael may have tipped his head slightly if you had been standing close to the boards. I'm just curious, not concerned. Such incidents frequently occur during training. A skater analyzes how their body feels on a given day, modifies time, and attempts a new entry. Still, the arrangement seemed out of the ordinary. Ilia accelerated along the boards by pushing ahead. As the blades bit into the ice, they produced that well-known scratching sound. Faster now, the kind of acceleration that denotes a serious attempt at jumping. A few attendees at the rink looked up without giving it much thought. There are frequent practice jumps. The majority of them go by unnoticed, but occasionally a skater's body language conveys a distinct message. As he got closer to the takeoff edge, Ilia's shoulders dropped a little. Raphael's posture shifted at that point. Not so much that it was noticeable to someone nearby that he had moved a bit closer to the barrier. Just focus, no guidance, no caution. Because coaches who have worked with top athletes for decades acquire a certain intuition. They are able to recognize when a normal attempt could become something more. The atmosphere around the rink changed in that moment, right before Ilia stepped off the ice. Just loud enough for a few folks to pause what they were doing and observe. Raphael eventually made the decision to discuss what had transpired in public. However, it was just another attempt at a jump at the moment. Or at least that's what everyone believed. The movement appeared nearly normal from the outside, with arms settling into place, pace increasing along the boards, and a controlled edge. That moment is familiar to anyone who has spent time around figure skating rinks. Everything gets quite precise in the calm moment before takeoff. Timing, balance, and blade angle. It happened in an instant that morning in Irvine. Ilia Malinin placed his skate's edge and shot skyward. The commotion around the arena lasted much longer than the actual jump, which lasted less than a second. For a while, viewers were unable to comprehend what they had just witnessed. Later, one of the younger skaters who was standing close to the boards claimed that he actually glanced at the ice rather than Ilia, as though anticipating an odd sight. In athletics, something does occur occasionally. Your mind seeks to adapt to the current situation. Ilia did not land flawlessly. As he struggled to stabilize the landing, the blade scraped a little on the ice. He swiftly shifted his arms to recover his equilibrium. Before he eventually slowed down, the momentum propelled him forward for a few meters. Just a quick peek at the boards and a brief glide. No festivities, no spectacular response. From a distance, it appeared to be just another attempt at training. However, the hush that ensued conveyed a different message. Mid-sentence, a coach who had been correcting a student's posture paused. With their hands still on the handle, a person standing close to the entrance door froze. It wasn't anarchy. It wasn't yelling. The reverse was true. That silent moment when everyone realized something strange has just happened. Rafael Arutunian leaned forward a little at the barrier. He didn't respond right away. Seldom do coaches. First, they observed the specifics: the landing edge, rotation speed, and takeoff angle. After that, he looked up and remained silent for a while. You understand why these kinds of moments are important if you have followed figure skating for years. Two distinct universes have always been balanced by the sport: technological risk and artistic ability. Additionally, the technical side has advanced more quickly than anyone anticipated in recent seasons. Ilia turned back to the center while continuing to go slowly across the rink. At last, a quiet voice emerged from the boards, just a silent query for Rafael. Because everyone in the audience already understood what the speaker was trying to say, the sentence was never completed. The skating community has been discussing Ilia's attempt at the jump for years, a maneuver that exceeded the amount of rotation the human body was capable of producing in midair. Before landing, the triple axel rotates 4.5 times, the kind of jump that many experts thought might stay theoretical for a very long time until lately. Here it was, in the midst of a peaceful training session. Ilia halted close to his coach after skating back toward the boards. They had a brief talk that was too quiet for anyone else in the vicinity to hear. However, Rafael's later account of that incident attracted attention. He claimed that the jump itself wasn't the first thing he saw. It was Ilia's subsequent response. There was no joy, no broad smile, and no sense that something potentially monumental had just occurred. Just concentrate. It was as though he was already planning the next try. Such moments provide insight into elite athletes that is never revealed by statistics. The most significant events occasionally take place in secret, far from TV cameras, in partially empty rinks. Unbeknownst to them, a number of people inside that building had just observed one of those moments that would only become significant in the future that morning, much later. After the jump, practice resumed as usual for a few minutes. The tiny speaker next to the boards began playing music once more. Onto the rink came another skater. A few cones that had previously been used for edge drills were grabbed by someone. From a distance, nothing appeared out of the ordinary. However, if you were paying close attention, you would have seen that Rafael Arutunian had kept his gaze fixed on the ice. After working with top athletes for decades, coaches adopt a certain habit. Rarely do they respond to a single try. Even a tremendous jump doesn't have much significance on its own. What counts is consistency. But there was something about that particular moment. For a moment, Ilia placed his hands on the barrier, took a deep breath, and listened while Rafael spoke to him in a soothing tone. Just a brief discussion, no exuberance, no theatrical gestures. I then pushed away from the boards once more. Returned to the rinks middle. If you've ever watched a professional skater practice, you are aware of how fast they recover from challenging situations. As soon as one attempt is over, your mind moves on to the next. However, Rafael subsequently acknowledged that he was focusing on the body rather than the jump. He has mastered the ability to read even the smallest cues after decades of teaching. The way a skater pushes off gas, the tilt of their shoulders, the rhythm of their breathing is virtuous to anything. It is said Ilia appeared to tone the composed, no hesitancy, no obvious evidence. Contrary to popular belief that detail was crucial since the jump from quadruple axel which Ilia had tried, it's a great demonstration of honor, explosive force during takeoff, and precise control upon landing are necessary for full and long rotations in the air. The landing impact is a challenge for the majority of skaters usually. Occasionally, the attempt results in a fall. Sometimes the body just won't spin quickly enough. However, Ilia appeared stable that morning. Rafael observed as his pupil accelerated more moments once more. The attempt wasn't the same jump this time. A new entry, a triple combo, and the resumption of a tiny effective training rhythm. However, Rafael's thoughts were already digesting the prior events. He had learned something about situations like this from his coaching years. They don't make a big announcement about themselves. In the middle of regular practice sessions, they emerge silently, almost casually. Additionally, the skater may not even be aware of how uncommon the situation was. Rafael once moved a few meters down the rink and away from the barrier throughout the session. He was asked a straightforward question by one of the other coaches. Do you believe he is aware? Rafael hesitated before responding. People in the vicinity said he shrugged a little and smiled a little, because it wasn't quite clear in actuality. I had tried the jump with the same approach he takes to most of his training sessions. Methodical, focused, and immediately considering how to get better rather than rejoicing. Rafael later speculated that this mindset may be one of the reasons Ilia has been able to push the sport's technical boundaries. However, word of such incidents usually spreads silently among the figure skating community. A coach talks to another coach about something. During competition week, a skater learns about it. The story is later told by someone who's in the ring. Talk in small groups. Some individuals in the sport were already talking about the training session by the end of that week. Quietly, not in public. And this was the intriguing part. The jump wasn't the only topic of discussion. It was about the potential implications for the sport's future.
Raphael was aware of this. He simply wasn't prepared to discuss it just now. Figure skating is typically shown to the audience in brief bursts, with slow motion replay showing each rotation. Bright arena lights, commentators explaining scoring, and competition broadcast. However, the lengthy period of months that separates these occasions is something that most people fail to notice. Training sessions, travel, days, preparation, and more training. Those months are particularly stressful for someone like Ilia Malinin, whose expectations shift rapidly once a skater gains reputation for pushing technical boundaries. Every software is examined. Every attempt at a jump makes headlines. In the sport, the leaders are known by the time of the clock ride. Naturally, it wasn't official. It was merely a term used by fans and analysts as his performances started to repeat accommodations. Although they can be flattering nicknames or consequences, bumper skaters have begun to study style of training which run like monographs. Jumps are repeated frame by coaches. Analysts debated if incidents were expected to snap or unexpected to listen. The environment surrounding the sport was shifting, but none of that conversation took place inside the Irvine Rink during practice. And more than others, Raphael routinely was aware of his previously virtual goals. He has seen fitness leaders soar to prominence only to falter under the pressure of stardom. When close to the training team claimed that Raphael seldom discusses records or history during regular practice because of this. Rather, he concentrates on specifics. The takeoff edges angle, timing of two consecutive jumps, and the silent discipline needed to perform the identical action hundreds of times until it becomes second nature. Nevertheless, the outside world inevitably finds a way in, even within that regulated training environment. Sponsors start inquiring about upcoming initiatives. The organizers of the competition are interested in learning about potential jumps for the upcoming season. The journalists begin phoning to inquire about Olympic prospects. And because the Olympic cycle advances swiftly, another layer of strain starts to accumulate somewhere in the background. Every skater is aware that the window of opportunity for optimal performance can be unexpectedly brief, and the season sometimes even months. Months after that training session, Raphael made